All right, joining me now is UFC fighter Lucas Alexander, who competed not too long ago in UFC Saudi Arabia. Came up short, but a lot went on, man. There's been a lot made about the situation with the locker room, and I know you had a post on it, so I definitely wanted to talk to you a little bit. I guess first and foremost, how are you feeling now after? I'm assuming obviously you're back in the States and everything. So I guess mentally, physically, how are you holding up a couple weeks out from that event?
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. Definitely feel better. All the medication I had to take and everything definitely helped me. I trying to hit the gym this week to see how I feel, and I feel good, not too bad. Just a little out of shape because all the medicine and everything. But besides that, I feel good. I feel great, man.
Well, that's paramount, man. I'm happy to hear that. But let's hear your perspective. I know you did talk about it on social media a little bit. We've heard some fighters come out and kind of echo some of the things that you were saying, but it seems like perhaps you had the worst of the symptoms from this smell. So can you just talk to me about what your night was like when you were in the back in getting to the locker room? I guess how was this preparation a little bit? Fight night preparations a little bit different than some of the other fights that you've been through.
True, true. Uh, First, before I start talking about that, I don't want to take anything of the loss. A loss is a loss, and the past can be changed, and I'm okay with it. What's more frustrated, it's because the situation, since it was my last fight, my contract to go out like that was something made me very frustrated. But I, I always I always take the loss in the chin and move it forward to be the best of my vision. So I don't want to take anything off my opponent. I'm happy for him, glad he got the win and all the blessing in his ways. But was definitely very frustrated. Everything back there. Unfortunately, I always have this situation with the rhinitis and sinus. I brought those with me since I live in Brazil. I've been dealing with this type of allergies and problems since I was a kid. And moving to USA was very hard for me because down here in Orlando, they use a lot of pollen. So for the first couple of years living here, and every year when it's a pollen season, I already get very, very bad with my allergy and stuff like that. And on the locker room, like 2 weeks ago, the paint smell was really, really strong. And what surprised me was I didn't know this, but I find out later. I think they built the whole stage in 6 days. Like, which it's I think it's crazy to me. I saw something. I don't know how true it is. I didn't dig it in. So I don't want nobody like saying like, "Oh, I'm telling some fake news or stuff." But I saw something and technically make a lot of sense because everything backstage was almost like just plastic, like drywall, like kind of like stand up type of thing. When those conventions and people just build those conventions for the couple days and then take it down again. So everything was super fresh, super clean, and the smell was super strong and surprised me because I never have that issue before in scenario like you with UFC. Everything was always easy and cake, but the smell was pretty strong and uncomfortable. And this whole time, like I posted a video the whole time in the locker room. I was very low energy. I was very like sleepy and tired, and not just me actually. My coach, what the thing I never see, right? Like my coach was in Saudi for a week already for a couple days, so they are technically adjust to the time, but they was very sleepy and complain about headache, and that's not something you see usually. But when I realized that something was really, really bad was right when I walked to the fight. I felt my chest very heavy and I felt a little bit out of breath. And then when I finished the first round, I talked to my coach and I told him, I said, man, I'm super tired. Like this is not okay. Like something is wrong with me. And then he like, yeah, you never tired, like you never complain and like you never feel this way. So long story short, the fight ends and I go to the back. and they check me like usual and make sure everything right with me, but I could not breathe. And and it was super strange because they check my vitals, they check my blood pressure, everything was like normal. That's like already like 10, 15 minutes after the fight, and I cannot breathe. They put me in the same like room with like a hospital bed, and I'm laying there. There was like five, six people's my corner, and they locked the door. And I'm like, please, do you open the door? Like I can't breathe. Like that's not a good. And they go, oh, I'm gonna take you to the hospital. You feel okay? I'm like, nah, I can't breathe. So they took me to the hospital. As I'm walking out to go to the ambulance, my nose starts like leaking like a lot. No like blood, but just like look like I was with a flu, you know. So I'm sneezing a lot and my nose continue to kind of like leak. And I was talking to my coach, like my teammates. I told him, I said, man, this is not good. Like how I got this allergy from nowhere. Like I was not sick. I've been here for a week already. Like I'm used to this. Like what's wrong? Go to the hospital. I did all my CT scan and everything, and I can't stop sneeze. This point, I'm like in toilet paper and blowing my nose. And what's made 10 times worse, it's I got like a little pump in my eye here from I think the punch in the elbow. So I could not blow my nose too hard either because I was afraid of making my black eye 10 times worse. So I'm blowing my nose. 2 hours, 3 hours later, they discharged me and say my CT was clean, my lungs was fine, but I was still really hard for me to breathe. And I went back to the hotel, and I think it was around 12:30, 1 o'clock. That's when I got the opportunity to talk to Mike Davis, Terrence. I didn't see them. And Mike Davis complained about the same thing. Terrence made a comment. He like, man, if I didn't finish my fight, I don't know what happened. Like I was super tired. And doing this process in the locker room, like Mayara Silva, the Brazilian girl, like I was sleeping and I woke up from nowhere and I look and she was in a corner. I'm like, she was never in a corner. And I asked her, you good? And she like, nah, I got asthma and the paint smells really strong in my corner. Here feels a little better. I say, oh, that's good. You're more than welcome. Feel free. She like, oh, I bet. Boom. And I went back to sleep, like closed my eyes and listened to my music. And like 20 minutes later, I took the kind of like a jacket I have in my face. I took it out and I opened. She was gone. And I'm like, what happened? You're like, she switched again, my coach. I'm like, that's weird. She said he was good. So was very like weird. But on a Sunday morning, I have to go back to the hospital because I could not breathe. That was 10 times worse. It got worse. I posted a video like 4:30 in the morning. I made a video with my wife. I'm like, I have to make a video about this. Like, this don't sounds right. Like, like I can't breathe and my nose and my throat, everything is messed up. So I went back to the hospital. I explained to the doctor everything, like told him how I felt, and he asked me a bunch of stuff today priority. I told him, and he put me in the oxygen with some cortisol to help open my lungs. They gave me um they give me a medicine for allergies and with a little bit steroids to help me too. So since the fight weight is gone and it was not a problem, so normally I used to take those medicine before signing for UFC and like prednisone and all the other medicine. But when I sign for UFC, I have to stop because those medicine to contain a little bit steroid. And I think if you have a fight lineup, you have to stop 14 days prior to the fight. And sometimes I got allergy like a week before the fight or like 10 days before the fight. I cannot take those because those definitely help a lot. But anyway, he gave me those. He gave me a little inhale, and I used the inhale to catch the plane. And that's what saved me to make it back to America. Because to be honest, if I didn't have that, I don't think like I'll be able to breathe in the airplane with everything because it was really, really, really uncomfortable. That's the priority thing. It was very uncomfortable. Feel like I was drowning. So super weird. I never experienced anything like that in my life.
When you were in the locker room, were people like discussing the smell as well? Like, was it other fighters kind of talking to you about it? Because it's one thing, right? If there's like a light that goes out, you can just be like, "Oh, somebody come fix this. We can't see." But when the smell, I'm sure there's nothing really they can do, right? Was like there any complaints, or was anybody trying to figure out something
Yeah,
to do about it?
we complain. I post the video. We complain. They start to open the ceiling, right, to make it better. And that was something like they thought help, and I think it did it because I feel like if you got there a little long, the smell was probably a little less. But when we got there, the smell was super strong because there was not air circulation. There was only one door, a full room, and they literally put a air purifier and stand up air conditioning. So there was not a central air conditioner. It was almost like a fan and a purifier air. So that's not enough to circulate air on a room after you paint, you know. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I heard something about the power slap guy complain about something that they priority. Like I think they paint the room like Thursday morning, you know, or like Thursday afternoon. I don't know, but they was very complain about that. And I don't know. For me, like I love UFC, you know, like my dream coming true fight for UFC, but the expectation of those type of situation never thought in my head. I always like visualizing, always heard how UFC like take care and do everything perfect. And it's a human company, so I know they gonna commit some mistakes here and there. I'm not crucified, but that definitely affected not just me. You know, there's people who want to fight. They say the same thing. Terrence, the old girl, I think Jennifer, like a
Jasmine.
lot of people, Jasmine. So there was not just semi-random situation. Like I said, I'm not taking anything from the loss. I lost and it's gone. But it just sucks to see an opportunity like that just fade away because I know how much I train, and especially like me going to my last fight, my contract coming from a loss. Like if you believe I will go there and not be in shape, if you believe I'm not gonna go there, like my first round was amazing. I feel great until like I don't feel great anymore. I couldn't breathe. So the situation just very frustrated, but I can change the past, so I just need to move forward.
Yeah, did they say anything to you about it afterwards? Like, had you had any communications with the UFC about the room or anything? Like you said, I
Now,
think there's been probably 5 or 6 fighters that have said something about it.
yeah, I talked to my manager. Didn't hear anything. Yeah, I don't think nobody else heard anything. I don't think they really care, to be honest, and that's an end just because like Jair got cut and Jair have not a great performance, and like the situation can be just extremely when it comes to us. You have to be extremely both ways. So if we fail, like I fail in my way, and I have to be penalty for that, and then they fail on there's no skills, there's no but you didn't make way, maybe you'll be tired. Nah, any fighter in the planet should not be in not this type of situation. That's point blank period. That it starts right there. So in my opinion, if you do something wrong, you take accountability for, and then you fix, and then moving forward. But blaming all the people for your own mistake, I think it's a poor way to be professional. And like I say, like to me, it just like an opacity can be changed. Just hopefully, I have another opportunity to just if I go out because I lost. You know, I take anything like from Jacka. That was a mistake of my part, thrown away, and he knocked me out, and I lost the fight. That's it. That's my mistake. But with Bogdan, I didn't felt that way. I felt like the opportunity was just taken out of me. So that's just like I say, frustrating.
Yeah, and I guess kind of putting that aside, or I mean, it's obviously always going to be a part of this story, the paint thing. But I guess what do you think's next for you now? Do you feel like you're gonna, given the situation that you're a free agent, coming off a couple losses, weight misses, do you think you guys will have to go your separate ways? Do you feel like they'll renew you? I guess kind of what are you hoping for in the immediate?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm young. I'm 29. I know I got the skills to fight in UFC, and I know I'm good at what I do. And I feel okay if I have to go back to regionals and build myself again. It doesn't matter if I go back to UFC or whatever other organization. But I think why now that's the middle situation. I don't know what UFC want from me. I don't know if they want to give me another opportunity. I'm waiting to see, but hopefully I can find out next couple weeks. So I can continue to move because last year was a full year of just training and get better. And this year, my plan is to show how much I actually got better. And at least I got to show for at least 5 minutes improvement of my game, and not just striking, but also grappling wrestling. So I know this year is gonna be a good year for me. It can be in UFC or can be without UFC. So now I'm just kind of waiting to see what's gonna be next.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. I mean, you're definitely one of the type of fighter they like, right? Anybody that's watched you knows that you are kind of a do or die guy, super exciting. So I hope that they give you another shot. The weight class, do you plan on sticking at featherweight? Do you think you would ever give lightweight a try? Like, is this something you think you could fix going forward?
Yeah. So I went to the doctor yesterday. I did some exams, some scans to check my body. I got the numbers back and I sent to my nutrition. And we saw a couple of things why was kind of hard for me make that way last 2 times. But also we realized like if I want to move up, I need to take some time off to put some weight too. So now we're in the middle. So I think I'm gonna stick in a featherweight just because the is a short way compared to me going to 55. But I don't mind going 55 in the future because I train in 55 right now. I train with Mike, Terrence. They are great 55s and way bigger than me. Like I'm pretty, like light guy. I walk around 163, 165. I'm just super lean. And so now I'm just figuring out the numbers of the scenario of how I'm gonna carry my way doing to priority fight week and then fight week, and that kind of communicate a little bit too. Plus in Saudi Arabia, there was the situation with the water. No, there was no water without sodium, potassium, and a lot of other stuff. And I think that hold little bit of my water in the last couple pounds, but there's no excuse. That's the situation. I should when I took the fight there, I shouldn't know those type of stuff. But we we commit a mistake and then we learn from. So the next one, it definitely won't be the same what happened the last time.
Yeah, and I guess besides the lung thing that you said has kind of resolved itself, how are you feeling? Like, are you hoping to come back sometime soon? Are you going to take a little time off anyway? Or I guess when in your ideal world, when would you like to fight again?
I want to fight as soon as possible. If I could have, I fought. I saw. I wish I won my fight. I didn't mind stepping in and fight Steve Garcia against Ed Barboza. I know it would be a great fight. So like I don't mind fight right away. I want fight right away because I took some time off. So if I'm not fighting UFC, I'm looking to fight March, April, so I can continue grind and continue make my win streak.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, whenever it is, wherever it is, I'm can't wait to see you back, man. Always entertaining when you're in the cage and a blast to deal with. So appreciate the
Thank you,
time,
brother.
Lucas. Enjoy your little time off for how long it lasts, and we'll be talking again, man.
I appreciate you and your time, man. Always a pleasure.